At 4, we are tracking more rain that's moving in. We have concerns for flash flooding. I'll let you know how long this rain is expected to last.
And these storms are coming as thousands remain in the dark from Wednesday's storms.
And we're with crews as they scramble to stay ahead of the next storm. And Metro Police giving us an update on its gun task force.
Why more Central Indiana police departments are now joining the effort. Live from Indy on this Friday, you're watching 13 News at 4. And we start with a live look at live Doppler 13 radar. Boy, oh boy, here we go again. More rain and storms headed to Central Indiana.
Yeah, this is what Rob and the rest of our weather team has been telling us, that even after those severe storms and tornadoes that we saw this week, the rain is going to continue on through the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be wave after wave of rain. And I think through the next several hours, probably the next 6 hours or so, we're expecting kind of a ribbon of rain to set up. Exactly where it sets up, there's still some questions, but where it does, I think 2 to 4 inches of rain could be possible just for tonight, and we've got more for the weekend. So let's dive right in and show you. Here's the radar. Now, the good news is that I think this is all lifting to the north, and behind it, while we'll still keep some light showers or maybe some drizzle in our forecast through sometime this evening, I think we're going to get a little break. And I know it's not going to sound like much, but that's going to help a lot because it does allow some of that rain to eventually drain into the creeks and tributaries. Rain, when you're talking about rainfall, it's also rainfall rate over time. So time is going to be critical here. Here's what we're expecting. This batch will lift to the north, and I think once we get through about maybe 7 or 7:30, we'll at least get a break from the heaviest rain. But I mentioned that ribbon of rain that's going to be setting up. Here it is, and at some point this evening, tonight, it's going to be setting up. Now, a couple of the computer models have this a little closer to, say, Lafayette. A couple of the computer models have them a little closer to Indianapolis. I think we're going to split the distance, and at some point, we're going to see this set up between Indy and Lafayette, and this is where we could see some of those rainfall totals approach 2 to 3 inches of rain, maybe even a few spots picking up more than that. Overnight, this will continue to push through. By the way, there is a severe threat farther to the south where we do have some warmer temperatures. The threat is there, but it's much farther south than Indy, although couldn't rule it out completely as the rain is likely going to continue through tomorrow. So how much rain are we talking? Again, this is just one model output. We're talking about 2 to potentially as much as 4 inches of rain, but you could take this and maybe slide it a county or so either way, and it really changes the impact. So we have plenty of flood watches and warnings that are in place. I'll talk a little bit more about that severe threat. All of that is coming up.
All right, now to those power outages. AES trying to get everything back on to as many homes and businesses as possible ahead of this next system.
So right now, less than 4,500 customers are waiting for power to come back on. Unfortunately, though, it's likely that more will lose power when the latest round of severe weather moves in.
Our Alex Almanza today talked with crews about their race to restore power.
In central Indiana, 3 major utilities, AES Indiana, Duke Energy, and Indiana Michigan Power, are still responding to outages caused by Wednesday's powerful storms. More than 180,000 customers lost electricity, and while the vast majority are back online, thousands are still waiting. For Tia Evans and her family on the northwest side, it had been nearly 24 hours until the lights flickered back on just before our interview.
They are definitely excited to have the power back. I have a 7-year-old son, and managing life without a tablet or TV was something that it was new to him.
Evans was home with her family when the storm rolled in. She says the wind and rain were so intense, they could see the trees bending in their yard.
We heard the sirens. That's what notified our family originally. And so we kind of all huddled together. We turned on the news immediately.
AES Indiana says more than 75,000 customers were affected, and crews are working around the clock. In a release saying, quote, "Our crews are working in dangerous conditions, putting their lives on the line to power yours."
We have a senior in our home. My grandmother was present, and so, just being vigilant, having flashlights and candles and water on hand.
Evans says her family was ready to head to a hotel if needed. Now with more storms in the forecast, they're hoping the lights stay on.
When things like this happen, we at least are prepared.
AES says full restoration should wrap up by midday Sunday. In Indianapolis, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
And if you are still without power or you want updates on restoration efforts, we're going to have some links on our website.
Traffic alert for your Friday. Travel advisories remain in effect for Madison and Delaware counties because of debris that's on the roads. Also, water levels are pretty high, and at points they are covering some of these roads. And then we have just water levels we need to get to in Hancock County and Rush County. At times we have flood warnings throughout the day today because the Brandywine Creek has been flooding parts of Greenfield, and the Flat Rock River has been flooding parts of the Raleigh area headed into Rushville. Then farther to the north and east, State Road 1 north of Hagerstown from Farmland north to State Road 28. That is closed due to water on the roads, and then also water on the roads keeping State Road 1 closed between State Road 67 and 18. And then just tornado damage. Hasn't been completely confirmed yet, but Lafayette Road remains closed at times because of power poles and lines on the ground.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Also today, the city of Shelbyville, along with Shelby County, they're issuing evacuation orders for some of the low-lying areas ahead of this major flooding expected this weekend. 13 News is keeping an eye out for any other evacuation orders ahead of the storm. When we get them, we'll post them to WTHR.com. You know, we're often concerned about tornadoes and lightning when it comes to storms, but flooding actually claims more lives and costs more money than any other weather-related disaster.
So here's some things that you can do to prepare for potential flooding. First, make sure that your storm drains are clear. Check your gutters and your drain pipes to make sure they are clear of any debris and make sure that they're pointed in the right direction. And have an emergency kit in case there is flooding.
That should include bottled water along with non-perishable food items, and a radio is always a good idea, one that can run off of a battery. If flooding is likely, you can also put up barriers like levees or sandbags. A lot of communities give out sandbags ahead of the storm to keep that water away. And with heavy rain and storms expected today and tomorrow, we want to keep you ready. So download WTHR Plus to follow our live Doppler 13 radar. There you can also stream in-depth forecasts and watch our extended weather coverage. Download on your TV and stream for free. New numbers in today showing how much progress Metro Police are making to get illegal guns off the street.
So we want you to see this. Look here. This is for the first 3 months of the year. IMPD says its gun task force has seized 115 illegal firearms, along with 167 machine gun conversion devices. They have also arrested 75 people on state charges and 6 more crimes for federal crimes. 6 more actually for federal crimes. Police departments from surrounding communities say they're also joining the effort to help keep their streets clean.
Crime doesn't know any boundaries, so these individuals, while they might reside in Indianapolis, doesn't mean they're not committing crimes in Boone County, Hamilton County, Johnson County. With the Crime Guns Task Force, the good thing about that is we have a partnership with many agencies outside of just IMPD, including agencies in other counties.
Now, this task force is also working hard to keep drugs off the streets. They have seized over 500 grams of fentanyl and over 1,800 grams of methamphetamine.
Metro Police say they've arrested a suspect in connection with a deadly shooting on Wednesday. 18-year-old Jaden Godfrey was shot and killed inside a house near 32nd and MLK Wednesday afternoon. Today, detectives say they arrested a 19-year-old man on a preliminary murder charge. Jaden was a father of 2, a student and basketball player at Indianapolis Metropolitan High School. We talked with his mother. You can find that interview on WTHR.com.
And now to an update on the Orange County, Indiana deputy who was shot in the head earlier this year while on duty. Deputy Zach Andre will soon come home to his family. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says they will escort Deputy Landry home on April 9th. Andre was shot 4 times during a traffic stop in January. He was on a ventilator and sedated for several weeks. Since February, he's gone through occupational, physical, and speech therapy.